Good evening, Internet Explorers. Today, we'll be looking at a very fascinating creature known as Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, Sonic is a very popular video game franchise. At one time, he was said to be a rival of Mario, one of the most recognized video game characters on the planet Earth. But lately, Sonic has been struggling a bit more. His games have been getting progressively worse, according to critics, and his sales have been dwindling. However, there is a larger problem Sonic might have, which is his online fan base. You see, while fan bases are never particularly flattering for the property that they are celebrating, Sonic the Hedgehog's fan base has left a particular kind of scorch mark on the internet. It's hard to say exactly why the Sonic fan base stands out, but there is a sort of energy they exude, a sort of heat they put off. If you want an example of this, all you need to do is go to Google and do an image search with these words. First, you take your name, and then you add the Hedgehog at the end of it. Now, unless you have a very unique name, most likely you will now be staring at an original character created by a Sonic fan. The fan base is so large and so significant that it just tends to have this effect. For some reason, Sonic the Hedgehog just inspires people to do things like this, to make their own contribution. The most famous of these contributions being Sonichu, but that's a story for a different day. Sonic fans' original characters all tend to have very similar characteristics, all based around wish fulfillment. And so you quickly begin to recognize that Sonic fans are kind of young, so the fan base has grown something of a reputation for leaving this kind of impact on the internet. In fact, the original character Do Not Steal brand that is placed on so many Sonic original characters has become a way to lampoon fictional characters as childish or simply vessels of wish fulfillment. The impact left by the Sonic fanbase has been so profound, in fact, that a sort of cult following has started up. A sort of fan base of this fan base, people who gather and collect these creations. And not just to make fun of the fans, but to actually make fun of the game franchise itself. You see, the Sonic franchise, as I stated before, is not doing so well as of late. And so they've had a lot of misses, a lot of games that are quite hilarious in how bad they can be. So aside from the fan base that is sincerely celebrating Sonic, you also have a fan base that is ironically celebrating Sonic. This ironic fan base has gone on to create some very popular memes that have a very long lifetime. Even if you're not a Sonic fan, you probably have laughed at some of these. In fact, these memes have ended up having quite an impact on even the Sonic franchise itself. Tyson Heese, an illustrator who's worked on the official Sonic the Hedgehog comic, and even did an intro cutscene for one of his most recent games, started off and became popular as somebody who was creating content for this ironic Sonic fan cult. This comic he created that was lampooning Sonic the Hedgehog became so popular that eventually it was recognized by Sega, who actually went and then hired Tyson Heese. And I can't say this for certain, but the fact that Tyson took the job leads me to believe that he may have once been a sincere Sonic fan. This isn't the first example of Sega being in on the joke of the ironic Sonic fandom, but it has become more and more noticeable recently. In fact, in the most recent Sonic the Hedgehog video game, you could go and create your own original character, Do Not Steal. The game, while not necessarily critically reviewed well, has become a very popular subject for both the ironic and unironic Sonic fan bases. No one knows how the Sonic franchise is still going to this day. There have been so many flops, the fan base is completely embarrassing. It's a laughingstock on the internet, and yet somehow these three groups, the sincere fans, the ironic fans, and the actual Sonic IP have started working in this sort of cycle. We first started with just Sonic the Hedgehog, which then created these sincere fans. These sincere fans were incredibly embarrassing for whatever reason and stood apart from other fan bases, to the point of creating fans of the sincere fans, the ironic fans. This ironic fan base eventually becomes so large that Sega recognizes it and starts trying to cater to it, creating official Sonic IP that plays into this kind of ironic fan base. These new games then create even more new fans who then fuel the ironic fan base, which then plays back into the original Sonic IP. This cycle of birth, death, and rebirth has happened many times already. Sonic the Hedgehog is a burning phoenix that will possibly never die. It's a unique creature that I still enjoy observing to this day, and hopefully you can enjoy it a little bit more now that you know all these things. Hopefully I've given you something to sleep on, Internet. I wish you safe travels and a good night.